got an army you can see, and an army you don't know nothing about.
I honestly feel like I'm insane. I cannot believe what we're witnessing. I mean, a lot of these kids, these people, they don't even know what they're protesting anymore. They have no idea. I was watching a clip of a protest earlier today, and this young kid's going on and on and on about a rant that this is Mexico, and we need to give Mexico back to the Mexicans. And I think he was in Oregon or Seattle or something. I mean, what, like, let me explain to you guys, and I know you may have your own understanding of this, but look at it like this, and, you know, you cannot just blame these kids. A lot of them are kids. It's not completely their fault. The tantrums that we're watching right now, and on the screen, Covert Radio is taking pre-orders if you want to get this shirt. It's it's one of the ways that we're hoping to try to stop these riots and calm these kids down. What you're looking at is their voter participation trophy. That way they can be acknowledged for participating in the election, and they got a trophy just like they've been used to for the last 10, 15, 20 some years. There's no losers. You cry and cry and cry and cry until you get what you want, and there you go. There's your trophy. Give it to your millennial friends or kids or neighbors or whoever. Make sure they get a trophy, and they can, maybe start backing down. They'll have some sort of, maybe they'll feel better. Their emotions will be repaired because they had lost. Now, okay, they actually lost, but they're still going to get a trophy. We're taking pre-orders now for that. I'm going to probably send the first order to the printers, I'd say in about a week. So I really feel that it's important to, one, get their trophy out to them. And if you guys don't want a shirt, I'm going to throw a link up here in a few minutes where you can download and save the meme and put it on your social media stuff, hand it out that way. Maybe we can repair some feelings here with giving them their participation trophy. But let me touch on a few points here of why these tantrums are being displayed. Again, these kids are so used to getting what they want, and here's the reason for that. This is the generation, these whiny ass, spineless, believe in nothing and have everything crybabies, okay? They were spoiled retarded. I used to say they were spoiled rotten, but I'm actually starting to believe that they were spoiled retarded because mommy and daddy both had to work. You could thank Hillary Clinton, her husband, and elitist of their nature, the elite global bankers, for forcing debt slavery on this country. So when mommy and daddy had to work, they had to ship Junior over to the daycare center, okay? That way the indoctrination started at the youngest age possible. Okay, that's the whole goal. Debt, enslavement, and indoctrination. So this is the product. This is the end result. You have an army of mindless drones, carbon copies of each other, You can see them from a mile away. The black rim glasses, the skinny jeans, some textile of wool, okay? Probably holding a Starbucks mug or coffee cup. Definitely has a slave-made iPhone. And they have no idea what they're protesting. Zero idea. But let me get back to this. These were the generation of these whiny-ass crybabies who were shipped off to the daycare centers. Inside of these daycare centers, which are completely understaffed, they're amongst their peers. And what had happened was the one that cried the most, the one that threw tantrums, threw themselves on the floor, they're the ones that had gotten the attention of the babysitter, of the daycare babysitter. So they learned this behavior. I gotta compete, and when I compete, the only way to win is if I cry and cry and cry and whine until I get what I want. Then I get attention. Like I said, these are the ones who threw fits, threw themselves on the ground. They got to play with the toy they wanted to play with. And if you didn't go to daycare, okay, then you got shoved off to Grammy and Pappy. Which Grammy and Pappy is the polar opposite of a daycare center. Because Grammy and Pappy really don't have too much going on. So they gave baby too much attention with things like cutting the crust off of the bread for Junior, and Junior only likey meat and sauce in the chili. Him's no likey the beans. So Gammy picked out all the kidney beans out of baby's chili. Okay? This is who we're dealing with. You've had high schools walk out in protest in the last week. These kids aren't even old enough to vote. They've never had a job. They've never had a want for anything. They've been spoiled retarded. But yet, it's tolerated. Because you have these federally controlled public mind-melting institutions that we're paying for with our taxes, and you have all these administrators sitting at a few $100,000 a year, scared to death to get on the wrong side of the parents, scared to death because they don't want to lose that easy money coming in. And the school board, they don't want to lose the they don't want to lose the nepotism of Junior getting in all the getting on all the sports team Junior wants to, or being the popular kid at school. So you don't want to lose your school board position, and you definitely don't want to lose your administrative position. So you will do whatever you have to do to please these crazy parents who have raised these kids. They'll tolerate it. They'll let these kids walk out. They fear the backlash from parents, and they definitely fear the backlash from the media, because they also don't want to lose the federal funding. What is the issue, kids? Please, can somebody tell me what the issue is? Because everything I've watched in the last week, it makes me feel insane. I mean, Trump is a racist, or this, or that, or this. It's all dealing around racism. If you are calling President Donald Trump a racist because he wants to build a wall and deport the hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants here. Guess who else supports that? the border control agents, the ones who are on the border day in and day out. Here's what I want you to do, kids. I want you to wake up and wise up, okay? So instead of going to Starbucks tonight with your group of black rim glass, wool hat wearing, iPhone smashing, with your little group there, and that way you guys, I know you guys normally sit there and talk about beard grease and, you know, maybe new words that you're going to be triggered by in the next few days. I want you to go find a mother or a father, or mother and father, who has buried their son or daughter, your same age, who has died from a heroin overdose. An easily obtained heroin overdose. And I want you to see if they want to build a wall. I am not implying that these illegal immigrants are selling heroin, but what I'm telling you is the majority of that heroin is coming right across the border from the south. So if there's no stricter vetting that happens at our border, you see what has happened. Heroin has exploded on every single city, state, and town. Go seek out some parents who have had to bury a child your same age because of easily obtained heroin. I mean, if Donald Trump's a racist, are you saying, because I still can't figure out where this comes from. Because I personally really have not heard any racist remarks that Donald Trump has said. I cannot pinpoint one. But if you're calling him a racist because you don't want people who are illegally pouring into our country every hour, okay? If you don't want them to be locked out or kicked out or even identified with stronger vetting, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go talk to a mother or a father who has had to bury their son or daughter because of gang violence, La Raza, La Mecha, and MS-13, and all these other huge Mexican gangs. Or I want you to find a mother and a father of a son or daughter who got killed by an act of terrorism in this country. The Orlando shooting, or 9/11 even. Why don't you go talk to a mother who lost her son on 9/11 in Tower 1 and ask her if she wants stricter vetting policies and ways to identify foreigners or whoever before they get into this country. Don't assume, okay? Go ask that parent personally. All you guys you're so up in arms with your signs and love Trump's hate and all this other bullshit. Let me ask you this question. Where was your little protesting when there were 70,000 factories being shut down in this country? And those jobs were given to communist-controlled slave labor facilities. Where was your little protest then? Where were you? I'll tell you where you were. You were in your bedroom under mommy and daddy's roof, or you were in your grandparents' basement, or maybe you were in your government-funded house, watching SpongeBob or playing Xbox and getting high. That's where you were at when they were shutting 70,000 factories down, destroying families, destroying communities. While at the same time, your beloved Hillary is in the back room making more deals with these globalists with her documented and proven pay-to-play promises that she has made time and time and time again for, future financial obligations to all these offshore globalists who have given her millions and millions of dollars. Where were you? Where's your, aside from the BLM, where were the rest of you guys when these federally trained Nazi-style militarized police are hunting down civilians who dare show disrespect or dare disobey even the slightest command? Where were you then? I mean, no matter how unlawful or how unconstitutional these pseudo-military police have become, where were you? I know where you were. You were on Facebook and you were on Instagram and you were whining again about how someone messed up your order at Starbucks, right? But see, let's take that a step further. You were at Starbucks, paid for your order with mommy and daddy's credit card, which said credit card is issued to them by the same globalist elite bankers that funded Hillary Clinton. And the only goal, of these scum, elitist, globalist bankers, their only goal is having a complete lifetime of enslaving you, your parents, your brothers, sisters, friends, and your future children. Enslaving you with debt. Your parents are amassing more interest. They will amass more interest in their lifetime than what any property or job could ever pay for. You are a debt slave. Thank you, Hillary Clinton, and Bill, and George, and Barry, and all of your globalist elite banker friends and buddies. Some of you guys are around the same age as me. I want to ask you this question. Where were you when the ATF and the FBI laid siege with a brutal and calculated disregard for the lives of 76 innocent men, women, and children who they surrounded and burned them to death? Listening to their screams of innocent men, women, and children in Waco, Texas. Where were you? It's not just you. It's your parents' fault too. They made sure that baby gets what baby wants. They made sure of it. It's your parents' fault for condoning and allowing and making sure that everyone gets a participation trophy. There's no winner, there's no loser, because there's such a fear of losing. Guess what, kids? Real life, there is no participation trophy. You will find that out. Real life does not give you what you want. Even if you throw yourself down in a tantrum, it's not going to give you what you want. Your parents have crippled you. They've made you weak, dependent, entitled, and they have condoned your behavior. A lot of you guys were really rooting for Grandpappy Sanders, and he promised baby that baby could go to college for free. And baby would get a free education. But let me tell you something. In real life, your education means nothing if you don't have a job. I mean, get a free education for what? What is free college going to do? What? So everybody can discuss 14th century French poetry while you're standing in line at the Red Cross for free soup? Wake up. You know, I feel bad for you guys. You have everything and you have nothing all at the same time. Let me say that again. You millennials, you have everything, but you have nothing. And it happens simultaneously. You have the whole world at your fingertips in real time. But I guarantee you that the vast majority of you can't even change a flat tire. And I also guarantee you that the majority of you could not name just 3 of your friends' phone numbers off the top of your head. There's no way. There's no way. You know, if you want to protest something, you're using your little NSA tracking device. iPhone there. Well, let me ask you this. Where were you when the communist Chinese slave labor factories, their workers who are communist slaves, where were you protesting when they were committing suicide by jumping out of the factory windows and off the roofs because they couldn't take being a slave anymore? They couldn't take working 15, 20 hours a day anymore for slave wages and living in a single room dorm inside of the factory so that baby could get the new iPhone 4 or 5 or 6 on time. Foxconn erected suicide nets around their factories. But you know what? Forget protesting the fact that they employ slaves. Did you even protest to go see if the suicide nets were far enough off the ground? You're a joke. And you're branding yourself as a traitor. You are an enemy and you're a traitor to the United States of America. You are an American. You idiot, entitled, whiny ass, spineless, live for nothing, have everything idiots. You are an American. There are people that die trying to get into this country. A country that you were born into. People come from all over the world to get our medicine, to have medical procedures done here. People from all over the world, they copy our trends, our styles, our language, and our creative arts, our music. This is one of the only countries in the entire world where you can do absolutely nothing and you would still be taken care of. You would still be fed. You would still be housed and more. And you take and take and take and take as much as you can get. You still have the opportunity to voice your opinions freely of your disdain of this country. Grow the fuck up. Man the fuck up. Or get the fuck out. It's very simple. This election is bringing out the absolute best and the absolute worst of people. There is nowhere to hide anymore. You're labeling yourself a traitor to this country. Because I'm going to tell you something. You're either with us or you're with them. And let me tell you something, our forefathers who founded, fought, and died for this country, who wrote the initial laws of governance, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights that are still in use today. This is the United States of America. If you don't want to respect the foundation of this country, what it stands for, and by who it was founded, then get the fuck out. Because there's nowhere to hide. There's going to be nowhere to hide. And I'm going to tell you this, one day you will realize that you were wrong. When you realize that you were fighting the wrong fight, you were fighting on the wrong side, you're going to realize that you were fighting for the same people who have lied to you, misled you, and considered you only useful for your ability to be a small little cog in the wheel of financial enslavement. That is your purpose to them. But I promise you this, you will think back to these days and you will review everything that transpired. And you're going to fall to your knees and you're going to weep, because you're going to realize what this fight is really about. And what people like me and your fellow Americans, your countrymen, the people that you oppose, the ones you have attacked and condemned, you're going to realize the election of Donald Trump, what it really represented, and why so many intelligent, good-hearted, wise, and God-fearing men among men will fight to their death to protect this nation from the globalists who want to enslave us. We're the same men who stood up and boldly screamed, "We are done being slaves. Enough is enough." And I promise you, you will thank us. You will thank us once you understand. You will understand one day that the basket of deplorables, that we understood what Thomas Jefferson meant when he said, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." I promise you. And when this period of our country is written in the history books, and generations from now, people are going to look back and they're going to read and they're going to say, but these protesters, these people who opposed Donald Trump, how were they so confused? They didn't even know, or they didn't even realize what they were fighting for or who they were fighting for. But the patriots, the ones who elected Donald Trump, they knew. And they were willing to die for it. And at that very moment, the quote by Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, it's going to have to be restated to include the blood of patriots, tyrants, and traitors to the United States of America. I'm Covert Radio. Subscribe, like, share. If you're feeling my content, if you appreciate what I do, consider becoming a Patreon. If you'd like to try to maybe curb these riots or help out in any way, consider pre-ordering one of the voter participation trophy shirts. And if not, follow the link here and grab the meme and maybe start passing that out on Facebook and your other social network sites. We'll see if we can get a bunch of these trophies out and maybe satisfy these kids a little bit. You guys take care. Have a good day.